Alrighty, everybody, welcome to New Chapter Art. We decided to this is the little picture we're doing today. So, if you want to follow along, then please feel free to do so. Decided to do something just random, silly, fun, whatever you want to call it. Um, so, yeah, I chose this and I decided to force myself to not take myself too seriously. Uh, if you actually look at this drawing, I don't know if it will show up in the finale, uh, and on the camera at least. But it's very choppy. I don't have smooth lines in it, and I did that on purpose because I am freeing myself for this drawing. I want to do something that I figure anyone can give it a go, give it a try. Um, so I used materials that are common. This is just a used printer paper, the backside of a printer paper that is used and no longer needed. And I'm using mechanical pencils. And I use a regular ballpoint pen for the inking stage. There will be one pen I use at the very end that is a brush marker, if you will. But still, it's not anything that you have to go to an art store to purchase. Anywho, um, what I'm doing right now is I'm basically just blocking in the shapes that I need, and I do the first few things light. If you've ever seen any of my artwork or watched me draw on streams, then you would know this already. I like to do things really lightly at first. They're darker in person. Of course, they don't show up on the camera as well, but they are not dark. I do not push hard. I try not to push hard on the paper in any of the stages of drawing. Um, don't want to damage the paper. It's plain and simple as that. So that's it. But especially at the beginning, when you're trying to get everything in place, then I really suggest doing light strokes and then going back over. I basically redraw the same lines a good 4 or 5 times for a drawing. That's just how I do it. Um, I like it that way because if I have to erase something at any stage in this point, or at any point in this stage, I guess, it will not damage the paper too much. Because when you erase, if you don't know already, erasing is basically just damaging the paper. It's just taking off real thin layers of paper come off with the graphite that you're laying down. So it's not like, unless you go crazy, it's not a big deal where you're going to rip the paper unless it's a thin paper or you're horribly hard on your eraser. Either way, it's a lot easier if your lines are light at the beginning, in my opinion. All right, so enough about the art side of what I'm doing here. You can follow along and just see what I'm doing, I guess, the drawing side of it. Let's just talk about, I don't know, life. In this case, the art itself, I decided to make something silly and fun, something Halloween. Halloween is coming up. It's just around that invisible corner that everyone talks about, but we never actually see. We just end up turning it and we move on to another corner. Halloween is, in my opinion, well, I guess it would be my opinion, that is my favorite holiday. I love Halloween. I've always loved Halloween. The dressing up into different characters, the just being able to kind of somewhat be free. This is the day where you're not judged so harshly. If you decide to dress goth and you're like, I'm a vampire, and people are like, okay, he's a vampire. But inside, you're like, this is how I always want to dress. I don't want to conform, but I must conform. Uh, okay, well, I exposed a little bit about myself, I guess. But anyway, Halloween is a great holiday, to me. Um, However, it's gonna be weird this year. I feel like it's going to be the weirdest Halloween since probably the first Halloween. Uh, you know, I highly doubt that most places will be coronavirus free, corona free, and I highly doubt that we will be allowed to, go out, um, especially not as freely as we would. In fact, with this whole year has been scary. 2020 is scary enough. So what can Halloween bring? Our traditional Halloweens are not scary enough for 2020. Sad. I highly doubt that there will be any new Halloween movies unless there were some that were in the works I didn't know about and that they're going to come out. Uh, oh my God. Oh, my hand looks really weird. Yeah. Pay no attention to my hand right now. Let's just keep talking about Halloween. So Halloween, this year, I'm assuming even if we are allowed to go out, I don't know how much trust we could put into accepting anything from anyone else's home for a while. It may be a year or two before some of us can start really trusting, and others maybe even longer to trust. And not that someone's doing something maliciously on purpose, just the point that this thing is out there and not everybody knows everything about it or anything about it, really. So, I don't know, man. I think it will be a trick or treatless year. Sadly for the candy companies, and sadly for the kids. I almost said for the candies, for the kids themselves. Yeah, I know it's a marketing ploy is one of the things for the candy companies where they've just become and making more and more just uh, holiday specific candies. But it is a nice kid holiday. It's something that almost every kid can enjoy, unlike Christmas time, where you can only truly enjoy it if you have a family of somewhat wealthy parents or givers. Or not everybody gets a present, is what I'm talking about, but everybody has a chance to get candy, I would assume. But not this year. I don't even know if Christmas is going to be good this year. Thanksgiving, for that matter. All the holidays always end up in the back of the year, but this whole year has been just the back of a donkey, really. So, anywho, I decided to make something funny, something silly. A nice little Halloween representation of something silly. A dancing disco pumpkin head. Speaking of Pumpkinhead, you can see on my little slideshow in the upper left corner my little pumpkin head with a butterfly showing up now and then. So I've done a couple of these pumpkin heads before. I got the pumpkin head guy kicking rocks. My favorite is the pumpkin head guy throwing up. Pumpkin spice, which is going to be coming back pretty soon. I heard Starbucks has said that it's on its way. Probably going to be starting up in about a week or two in some places. Because we are getting into fall. Summer is, I don't know if it's officially over yet, but it will be soon. And, you know, pumpkin spice is the king of the fall flavors. They kind of went everywhere with it. Too much for me, but a pumpkin spice latte is pretty decent, I would assume. And so this is my disco guy. If you notice, back to the art side of it, I'm starting to darken up the outline. I'm starting to get more of the details that I'm kind of wanting. You don't go right into the details, which is what I'm forcing myself to do. Like I said, this is definitely an exercise for myself. I was trying to do something silly. I was trying to do something, not hold myself as too much under like the microscope, I guess. Not too. I don't think accountable is the word. I still have to be accountable on if it's decent or not. I mean, that's just me because if I'm going to film something for you guys, I don't want it to be just the failed stuff. I guess I could show you guys the failed stuff, but then I mean, you would just see me trying to attempt something and it just coming out horrible, and then me just throwing it away. Uh, but I don't think that's what you want. But yeah, I was trying to figure out something because it has been a while. I'm not very consistent with uploading videos, and I do need to get better with it. But I keep holding myself to such a high standard that I end up really not doing much for this channel. And I said, you know what? No. We're not doing that. Let's do something that maybe others could try. If you want to, learn this to, draw for one of your, one of your chairing, or whatever, or maybe you just want to follow along just for yourself to do something nice and silly. I'm trying to be kind of somewhat loose with some of my lines, and just have fun with it. Of course, you can always go off of what I've done here and improvise, improve, do whatever you can for your side. Change up the face. In this case, what I did was I did not draw the face yet. I did the rest of the body first, and now I'm going to be working on what the expression is. I had an idea of what the expression is that I wanted. You will see that I will play around with at least the mouth of this face once I get into it. But I definitely had the idea of what the stance was, so I figured let's do the body first. Let's get what I know 100% first, and then we could take our time and play around with what I'm not 100% sure about, which would be the exact look or the exact expression. So that way I didn't lose the rest of it, the rest of the picture in my head before I got to it. Excuse me. Which brings me to little off topic, I guess, but hey, we're here just talking and watching some stuff here. So, I was thinking as I was debating on what exactly I was going to do, I was thinking about the thought. You like that? I was thinking about a thought. I was thinking about the thought of artist block, and I've faced artist block almost every single time I um, deal with doing something, I guess you would say. But I don't know if it would be literally artist block, because here's the thing. I have a ton of ideas. Here's my problem, which is the problem many artists faced. I'm sure many of you probably face it as well. Is the fact of looking down at a blank canvas or at a blank page. In my cases, I'm sure I know there's a lot more art out there. I don't know if sculptors um, run into these issues and they look at a lump of clay or a rock or carvers. I don't know. I can only address what I've dealt with, which is paper and canvas. When I look at those blank canvases and papers, um, it is very hard to get motivated to do something whenever you have so many ideas swimming through your head while you're going about your daily life. And then when you finally have the time to sit down and you look at that blank canvas or that blank page, and suddenly everything disappears from your head. It is the weirdest thing. It's just like I used to write lyrics for songs and poetry and stuff like that, and those things would always come to me when I was in the middle of working. Like I would be at work doing something, or I could be outside cutting the grass. Anything where I am not able to write it down, these things would come to me. So for those, what I started doing was now and then I would just grab my phone and just record real quick what I was trying to get down on the paper. That way it was at least captured and I can come back. You can't really do that for the most part. I can't, at least when it comes to art. I can write down the idea, but it's not the idea that I lose. Whenever I look at the paper or when I look at the canvas, what I lose is the image. Because in my mind, I'm sure like most of you, you have the actual image in your head. I have several stories that I have um, come up with. I have the entire plot laid out. One of them has been in my head for over 10 years. But I don't write. I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. So I haven't even attempted to write them down. I take that back. I attempted writing one about 3 different times, and it's trash. When you read it, it's obvious that I do not write. It's just like, hey, and he said that, and she said that. It's entirely not what's up in my head. Because here's the thing: when it comes to the stories, it's a movie clip in my head. I see the characters; they are their own everything. They have their own expressions, their own clothing, their own. It's literally like I'm watching a movie that someone else created, except it's original and it's in my head. Now, how do I stop that movie clip from playing while I write down so slowly what's going on? So, one of the ideas for one of the books is to make it a graphic novel. And ever since I came up with that plan, it kind of freed me up to say, okay, I don't need to try and figure out how to write all the words. I'll just draw it out and blah, blah, blah. Problem: more and more stories for that idea have come about to where technically I could probably write, instead of like say one book, I would probably have at least, well, I guess could be a book, at least probably 10 different stories that could be like 10 different graphic novels or 10 different issues of this novel, or a comic, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it could be a novel and just be different chapters. Um, but again, they are all clips in my head of actual things happening. So then my problem is I sit here and I overanalyze, what do I draw? These In this particular one, the main character has a physical body in the physical world, but he also has a body in the spiritual world. And he is only the main character. All the other characters within this story will need their own look, and some of them will also have uh, 2 different characterizations: the physical world and the spiritual world, on top of the storyline, and this and this and this. So I kind of defeat myself before I even get to the paper. So this was an experiment. This particular drawing was an experiment. I'm not really great at drawing the male characters or male body. I think I do pretty decent when it comes to female and anime-ish. I actually enjoy doing those, but there is not a lot of people that enjoy looking at them. Um, and then in some cases, I am not allowed to show them in some places because it could be considered a little risque. As the ladies you see on the screen, they're wearing swimsuits or lingerie or whatever, then it becomes more of a age restricted type of thing. Which is why I say, if you would like to draw this for your kid, or show your kid how to draw it once you've done it, because I don't know if you would want your kids seeing these ladies next to it. But this is not a channel for kids because, well, I don't really know what YouTube's whole thing is with the kid thing, and I just didn't want. I got scared when that whole what was it, Cooper Cabra, whatever the heck. So I decided I was not going to make kids content, even though I do artwork, which could be considered kid-like. I just didn't want to have to deal with my channel being annexed or hidden. There was a lot of false or scary information out there. So, with that being said, if you would like to do this drawing for your kid, then I would be so happy. And see, because I really like helping out younger artists, no matter the age. Um, but I'm not great with the male anatomy. That I'm better with, and here's what breaks down to. It's kind of to oversimplify it. When you're drawing, the male characters usually are more rigid. They're more squared off, I guess you could say. female in drawings are more curved, and I feel like I'm better with curves than I am with straight lines. So here's the oddity in how I challenge myself, which some of you that have followed me have kind of seen me do this before. When I'm trying to get into something different, I can't just jump right into it. What I do is I kind of start my own weird analysis for it. For example, I wanted to do anime characters, the anime looking characters, not characters that already exist, just my own kind of take, which is what the two ladies are. So how I did that was I started making what I'm drawing right now on this video. I started making kind of cartoonish, silly pumpkin heads. I got the pumpkin heads that I talked about earlier, kicking the rocks and chasing the butterfly and all that kind of stuff. Uh, I did these kind of characters. I think I even did chibis. I did chibis of Wolverine, Superman, the Incredible Hulk. If you don't know what chibis are, they're basically the cute characters with the big head, small body. I did those all for a reason. Because before that, when I first started drawing, it was landscapes, then it was animals. I think I have some of those on the slideshow that are showing up in the top left corner. You might see, I think there's a lion, tiger, and a scene with a river otter. Um, those were the first kinds of drawings I did past landscape. Then I kind of did, I think, a couple cartoon looking characters. Oh, there's my pumpkin head guy with the kicking the rocks. I think I did a couple of the cartoon characters once in a while, just to practice things. Then I got the bug of painting, so I started painting, which was a whole different animal than it is to draw. Drawing is a whole different, basically muscle memory and technique than painting. But if you can mesh the two worlds together, you end up with exquisite paintings. I have seen some of the most amazing paintings um, where people basically draw out what they're going to paint, and then they paint those, spots almost like a color by number kind of thing. Um, Anywho, to get back into drawing, I kind of just went for different things, and I started noticing that I was, decent at the portraits, pet portraits, people portraits, but those are so time consuming and so stressful. So it wasn't good for me, I guess, is my thing. It's good financially because that's what customers or clients want for the majority until you have your own style or your own thing where they're like, oh my God, nobody does this like you, and they really like it. But portraits, everybody's like, hey, you're a good portrait person, so let me get a portrait from you, that kind of thing. If you know what I'm trying to say, it's a little more marketable. Um, so I started drawing these kind of characters because it loosened up my mind. It loosened up my hands. It gave me more of a laissez-faire approach. I wasn't stressful on myself. I wasn't rigid on myself. I was just having fun. And like I said, this one I even was more um, that way because with this one, I even decided I wasn't going to make the lines in the pen smooth. I was just going to keep it choppy, keep it fun, because this was just a video to help you guys, give you guys something to watch, something to do if you can, something to practice on and play with. So I think those kind of things have helped me tremendously in trying to free. I know I still have a long way to go with what I'm trying to create in my head, but as far as artist block goes, I don't know if it's literally a block or we just keep setting ourselves up for failure by being too strict on ourselves. If you watch artists on YouTube doing their videos, you're watching people that they already know how to do what they're about to tell you, right? So they're gonna show you. It, you got to be careful with how-tos and videos of almost any artist because a lot of them could easily be, "I'm just showing you what I can do so you can be impressed," kind of a thing. People that are actually trying to teach you will actually show you step by step, do this, do this, do this, which there are a lot of those as well. Um, so if you're looking at your work, comparing it to someone on YouTube, and you start thinking, I can never be this way. Look how he just did that so quickly. He just did this line with one stroke and blah, 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 blah. Okay, you got to remember that's a lot of practice. That's a lot of time. He or she has been playing at this for a while. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Instead of looking at it like how bad you are, just look at it, okay, this is where I'm trying to get to. What can I do to get there? And that's what my designing these characters were for, because if they're off, they're off. It doesn't matter. Nobody's seen a big pumpkin headed man walking around, or in this case, a big pumpkin headed scarecrow. Nobody's really seen one in real life. So as long as you're close, go for it. Make fun characters. It makes it fun for you, it makes it easy for you, it's more relaxing, it's more freeing as you're just for yourself. Now, yeah, you may not sit there and make one of these things and all of a sudden people are at your doorstep wanting you to do this and do that and paying you buku, but okay, but you're getting skills. You're learning your hand-eye coordination. You're getting muscle memory. Play with these characters. You know, these characters that are now becoming so huge. I say now, it's been many years, but I'm talking about comic books. These people that do these comic books and do this art, they are tremendous artists. But I bet you a lot of these, if not all of them, artists are able to sit here and just play around, just have fun and create. And that's what enables them to create the characters that we know and love today. So, my suggestion is you just, oh, why is my hand being stupid? I just looked at the video. Oh no. Stupid hand. My suggestion is be able to sit down, if not every time. Um, if you're not able to sit down and draw every time, or let's just stick to drawing. If you're not able to sit here and draw some magnificent character every time, you know what? At least sit down and draw something goofy. Draw something silly. Draw a Pumpkinhead Man. Draw Pumpkinhead Man's lady. Draw Pumpkinhead Lady. Just something that can free your mind. Um, in this case, like I said, it helps me get a drawing out. It helps me get a video out, and it helps me get something silly, so I'm not feeling super stressed. And this has given me a couple more ideas for a couple more characters that we can do a couple more videos like this on. Maybe not as long. If you think this video is long, trust me, it's longer for me. I had to actually do it in real time. I then had to edit it, which meant I had to watch the whole video, edit down some parts, speed up some parts. I then had to do it again for the voiceover, watch the video as I did a voiceover. And lo and behold, I messed up the voiceover. So this is take two, baby. Yeah, I deleted the whole thing. So this is take two on the voiceover, take four of the video watching. So I devoted a few hours. I devoted a few hours on this, but you know what? It's fine. I needed a video out for you guys, and I would love to do more. You guys give me some suggestions if you have any, especially if there's some silly Halloween characters before Halloween gets over here. It's the next big holiday, so, and like I said, it's my favorite. So as far as if there's any of you that are artists or that want to be artists, or someone, I know that at least one of the subscribers, I'm sorry I can't remember your name right now, but she said her kid is an artist, and I think it was your daughter. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But if you are still watching this video, maybe and you're not an artist, but you have a relative or someone you know that is, and maybe share that advice with them. Do something fun. Don't stress yourself out. Not everybody's gonna think a Pumpkinhead guy is fun. Some people, I know when I was growing up, the big thing to do to draw in school. I never liked doing it, so I never did it. But the big thing was to do the lowriders, lowrider cars, lowrider trucks, designs on them. I was never big into it because I was never big into cars. I'm the weird guy who says, yeah, there's some nice. I'm not saying there's not nice vehicles. There are nice vehicles, but to me, a vehicle gets you from point A to point B, and c'est la vie. So not enough for me to go crazy drawing it, but I know some people love drawing it. So to me, when I started, it was drawing trees and stuff, and not because I love trees. It's just all I could think of because I guess I did a decent amount of playing out in the woods, kind of a thing, riding bikes and stuff. So my advice is to be free with it, have fun with it, and that way, when you get to the stressful stuff, you at least had a break. All right. I'm not saying that everything's because obviously what I'm about to do or what I need to do to get my book is going to be stressful. But look, I did illustration for the book Kushma Reborn. I appreciate the author Datania for allowing me, for hiring me, and allowing me to do this. He gave me the hey, for this, I want one picture where this is happening, a picture where this is happening. But he gave me the free enough reign to where I was able to create the characters. It was stressful, but it was also rewarding. Not just because I was paid to do it, but it was rewarding in that I actually accomplished. I actually got this guy what he was looking for his book. Now I know that's hopefully going to be happening with my. I have to think 100% that it will. I have to what they call it, think positively, positive vibes that it will happen, and that way, whenever I get to doing it, I know it's going to be stressful. But when you're doing stuff like this, let's say it gets too stressful, pop out one of these fellas, you know, something that's not so stressful. Because if you only do stressful stuff and you only beat yourself up about what you could not do and could not accomplish, well, odds are you're going to stop. You're going to completely stop. You're going to say, screw this, I'm not drawing again. I can never get the anatomy right. And then you're just going to stop. I know a few of you asked me, like, as far as placement, how do you know how to fit everything on the page and blah, blah, blah. And if you never get an answer, eventually you might stop. Please don't stop. I've showed a couple of times how to do it, and you kind of saw here a little bit how to do it. You just block things out. Block out the shape. Don't go straight into drawing the detail. Okay? Block it out. Like what I did. I did the shapes. Then I started refining the shapes down to actual things. The chest went from some weird barrely circle to chest that is a jacket and blah blah blah. Okay? So I think that's enough of my ranting. We're about to be done with this drawing. This is the felt brush marker I was telling you guys about that I'm using here. And look, I plan on doing a few more videos where I'm going to be drawing and talking to you guys, maybe even reading some poetry. I finally got 2 Edgar Allan Poe books. I used to have a lot of his work, even even though it was the same stuff. I mean, he didn't write more stuff. I had like compilation of all his stuff, and then I had one that was just his short stories or stuff like that. So I finally got 2 more, and we're gonna be able to read some for you. All right, that's enough. All for today. Thank you for watching. With art, we all rise together.